2000 for a short period of time. So that also, this kind of very contemporary and serious, I would say, even if we are very serious, but those days, I was not serious compared to those guys. I mean, that has been a big influence to me. And also, I would say also soundtracks. I mean, people such as Ennio Morricone or lots of, I mean, totally different. And also some people from the rock scene, people such as The Who, for instance, because they've been the first one in the rock scene to introduce sequences and songs such as Baba O'Reilly, that very few people know that they did this track as a tribute to Terry Riley, was another major influence for electronic music, was able to play sequences without sequencers by hand. What actually I did on Oxygen and on my early work when we had no MIDI, so we had to do laboriously all the sequences during 10 minutes. Doing trance by hand is a challenge.
Well, everybody knows that you're one of the pioneers of using analog gear. And recently on your Facebook page you said, "We aren't analog anymore." Does that mean you switch to digital instruments and leave the old ladies to what they are? Are they in a corner somewhere in your house, or?
No, I think I have lots of respect and for analog instruments, and as you know, I'm quite responsible about the high rate on eBay for all analog instruments. But I must say that with all the respect I have, I think they are timeless instruments. I mean, analog instruments, as we know, are incomparable. Like if you want to use a trombone or a violin, use a trombone and a violin. If you use a pad sounding like a violin, it's because you don't want a violin, but the pad sounding like a violin. It's the same thing for analog instruments. I mean, you can't beat modular mode for some sounds, even if some plugins are quite convincing to imitate them. But having said that, I think what's great today is actually, at last, the digital now are not only matching the analog, but actually sometimes is even better. And that is very, maybe for the past 3 years, if you take plugins such as the Diva, for instance, or Monarch from Native, I mean, the Native, they are very close and even sometimes better than, I would say, even on an acoustic point of view from analog instruments.
Do you compare the digital recreation?
Yes, obviously I've been sent, they sent me the Monarch saying, "I know that you have all the MIDI mode. We really would like you to compare."
Do you actually do it? You sit in the studio, you try to recreate
so for the Monarch, yes, I did. And I must say that it's very close to the MIDI mode D, and much better than the Voyager. I mean, I don't like the modern Moog anyway, but I prefer plugins than the modern hardware.
And how do you keep up with new sounds? Do you read magazines, do you go online, or do you spend a lot of time still investigating new sounds, new plugins, or are you just more still playing with analog, or just really get sent new stuff and try it out the whole day? Is that what you do?
You know, I got the virus a very long time ago, so I would say it's even getting worse and worse. So yes, and on top of it also, I have lots of, I mean, all the weirdos and crazy guys in the world know my contact, and so I have lots of crazy proposals. People, I mean, there is a trend these days of very young technicians, I mean, trying to do what even was not happening when I was starting, doing synthesizers and electronic instruments with valves and tubes. I remember when I started, we were considered as sound engineer, as people really working with trash electronic instruments. Because in those days these instruments were made of transistors, and they were all thinking that the real warm sound in studio is made with bulbs and valves. And now